Hello explorers, and I hope you've had a really good week. I've had a good week because all the daffodils are out. I love driving around and walking around and you can see the daffodils and the snowdrops and the crocuses because that means spring's coming, or it's here. My favourite time of the year. Now, last week we started to learn about a new prophet. We had been learning about Elijah, but there's a new prophet now that we're learning about. It sounds like Elijah, but can you remember what his name was? If you said Elisha, you're right. So, Elisha had taken over from Elijah, and he was traveling around telling people about God and helping them. And in today's story, we're going to hear about a lady that Elisha helped, and God helped. Now, this lady was in trouble, and she was really sad. She had no food, and she had no money, and she had 2 hungry boys to feed. Doesn't say how old the boys were, but probably quite young. Now I have 3 hungry boys to feed, so I know what it's like. They eat all the time. And this one was really worried. She had no money, she had no husband, her husband had died, so she didn't have any way of getting money in that way. And she was sad. But she loved God, and she knew that God would help her. And she went to Elisha because she knew Elisha could help her. So she went to him and she said, I don't know what to do. I'm really sad, I've got no money. And the other thing was, she said, I owe a man money, I owe a man a lot of money, and if I don't pay him, he's going to come and take my children away, and they're going to become his slaves. That's a horrible thing to have to happen, but that's the kind of thing that would have happened back then. So she was really, really worried. She didn't have any money to pay this man back, so he might come and take her children away, and her boys were really hungry, and she didn't know what to do. But she knew God would help her, which is why she went to go ask Elisha. So Elisha said to her, well, what have you got in your house? She said, well, all I've got is actually a little bit of olive oil. Now, olive oil comes from olives. I don't know if you can see that. Now, I don't like olives. I do like olive oil. And you know what I find amazing is that olive oil, we use it now, and they use it in the Bible. So olive oil has been made and used for thousands of years, which I think is really exciting. You take the olive off the tree and you squeeze it until the oil comes out and then it forms that. So Elisha said to her, what do you have in your house? And she said, all I have is some olive oil. He said, right, I'll tell you what you need to do. Get your sons and go to all your neighbours and ask them for as many jars and jugs as possible. Now, a jar, it's just a tiny picture. It would have been something like that. It would have been quite big. Probably had that big. And it's something that you would have kept food in something like olive oil. I suppose a little bit like a bottle or a Tupperware nowadays. And Elisha said to her, go and ask all your neighbours for as many jars and jugs as you can possibly get. She thought, I don't know what Elisha wants me to do with all this, but I trust him because I trust God. And I know that God is going to help me and he's going to try and help me. So she called her sons and she said, we need to go and ask our neighbours for jars and jugs, as many as we can possibly get. They went and they knocked on all the doors and they said to their neighbours, do you have any jars or jugs that we could possibly have? And soon all of their neighbours were looking for as many things as they could possibly give away. Well, they brought all the things back to the house. They had armfuls of things. They had that kind, they had that kind, they had this kind. Oh my goodness, I had some more of those. I had little ones, I had big ones, and placer, medium-sized ones. That's how long they had so many. So many jugs and jars. The lady went to Elisha and she said, we've got all these jugs and jars now. What do we do? And Elisha said, okay, I want you to do this. I want you to close the doors of your house. I want you to take a little bit of oil and take one of the containers and start pouring. And I want you to fill up all those containers. Well, they had no sons. They had lots and lots of containers. How was that going to fill up those? She thought, that doesn't make any sense. But I trust God and I trust Elisha, and I know that God will help me. So she took the oil and she took the jar and she started to pour. And you know what? A miracle happened. Now, a miracle is something that God does, something that we can't explain, but it's something that God does. Oil in the little jar never ran out. They filled up all those jars. oil just kept on going and filled them all out. That was a miracle. That was amazing. The lady went to Elisha and she said, all the jars are full. That's amazing. God has helped us. Elisha said, right, take that olive oil and go and sell it. The money that you make, you can pay the man back what you owe him, and he won't take your children away. And that's what happened. They went and sold all their olive oil. She paid the man the money back. She kept her children and she could feed them. God had helped them. It had been a miracle. Now, it wasn't magic, because remember what I said last week about the cloak that Elijah had, where he hit the water. That wasn't magic. There's no magic in the Bible. It's all miracles, what God does. Okay, and there's lots and lots in the Bible. It's really exciting to read about them. So, what happened was, God had helped her, because she trusted God. God will always help us when we trust him. He's not always going to do miracles like that. And sometimes the way that God helps us is not always the way that we would like him to help us. Because we have ideas about how we'd like him to help us. Maybe we think, I need lots more chocolate and I want God to help me. Well, he's not going to give you lots and lots of chocolate, is he? Because it's not helpful for you. It's not healthy for you. But God always hears our prayers and he always helps us. And that's what Elisha was doing. He was going around telling people about God and helping them. And God was helping the people through Elisha. That's an amazing story, isn't it? The woman was sad. She was worried. But she had a little bit of oil. She got all these jars. And the oil just kept on pouring and God helped her. It was a miracle. To keep her children and she could feed them. That's amazing, isn't it? But you know what? We can always ask God to help us and help people that we love as well. So, I'm going to pray now and just thank God for that. Dear God, thank you that I know that I can always ask you for help and you will always hear me. Amen.
Right, so our memory verse today is, the Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. That's like we learnt about today. The lady who was sad and troubled and she didn't have any money to look after her children, but the Lord watched over her and he helped her. So, let's do it once more and then we're going to start rubbing words off. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. So, I'm going to take Ada first, and I think Ada might do this word. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Let's go to Danny next. I think Danny might choose that one. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Next we're going to go to Lila. Lila, I think, might choose that word. Let's try. Oopsie. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Ilya. I think Ilya might do that word. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Yenna. Yenna might do that one. Whoa! Can you still remember? The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Now it's Noah's turn. Let's do that one. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Just got Levi left now. I think Levi might do that one. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Do you think I can take it all off? I think I can. I think you know it. The Lord watches over all who love him. Psalm 145, verse 20. Well done. Right, so for today's craft and your activity sheet, you've got your activity sheet. It's this one. It's about Elisha and the lady and the jars. And there's some jars that you can cut out on this side, and you have to choose which one goes into the memory verse that we've just learned. And you can fill some things in. So you can do that on your own or get your grown-up to help. The other thing we're going to do is in your packs for this week, I'm going to be giving you some clay, like some coloured clay. There's 3 for each of you. You can mix them together and make one big ball, or you can keep them separate. I'm going to use the purple because that's my favourite colour, one of my favourite colours. So take the lid off and you take the purple out. Ooh, it feels nice. Oh, it's quite light. I thought it would be heavier than that. Hear that? That's really nice. And I'm going to roll it around in my hands. I'm going to make a jar like the lady put the oil in. So I'm going to take a little bit off so I can use those for the handles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this round and round and round, and then I'm going to put my fingers in. But you can do this any way you want to. Put my fingers in and start to make a little jar like that. Squidge it round with my fingers and then bring it back in a little bit. A little bit more. I'm sure you'll be better at this than I am, because you'll be doing this quite a lot, won't you? You guys like playing with things like this. So, okay. A little hole in it. I'm trying to flatten it down a little bit so it's got a base. I'm not sure if this would actually hold anything, but it's just a bit of fun. And then I'm going to make two handles to go on this side, that one there. Oh, there you go. And this one. Now, this clay, it's air dry clay. Oh, look at that, Linda. Ta-da! It's not fantastic, but I'm quite proud of it. So, with this clay, if you leave it like this in the open, out like this, it'll dry and it'll get hard. And maybe you can see if it holds water, or maybe some olive oil, if your parents will let you. Okay, so if you leave that. If you don't want it to be hard, you just squidge it up and put it back in your little pot with the lid on top. Okay, it's entirely up to you. Now, with all three of those, you could make a really big pot. You could make it in circles, maybe. Maybe you could roll them out to form worms and then circle it up and up and have different color handles. Or you could take some of your other two colors and make patterns on them. It's entirely up to you. But we'd love to see what you've done. And if you take some photographs and send them to me, that'd be fantastic. So, well done. Have fun.
Jesus